Are you struggling to improve your English fluency? Do you want to speak English fluently or confidently? Hello, this is Neha and I'm here to help. In this video, I'm just going to be talk about some particular exercises. If you are just going to be follow them, then you can speak English fluently just without a partner. And you can say at home. If you are alone at home, then you can apply these particular techniques, what I'm just going to be tell you here, so that you could be fluent in English. So, why it is important? Like if I'm talking about if you are alone at home, why it is crucial to practicing English fluency? It is crucial because it's just going to be add some values in your personality. It's just going to be a method of communication. When I'm talking about the international language, you can talk, okay? And if you are feeling actually there is no one who are just going to be talk to me in that particular language in English, then how I'm just going to be improve myself? I know these kind of questions, these kind of doubts coming in our mind, but now I'm just going to be tell you how you can overcome those particular doubts. So these particular exercises you have to be do so that you can be fluent in English without even a partner. You don't have to be speak out to someone. You don't have to be talk to someone in English. You can improve yourself by just following these particular techniques, so that you don't have to be worried how I'm just going to be practice English, how I'm just going to be improve myself, and how I'm just going to be achieving the fluency when it comes to be speaking. So let me tell you, the first technique is listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Why it is crucial when I'm talking about the listening, when I'm talking about the repeating something? If you are at the beginner level, that you don't have to be worried if you are making mistakes. If you are just going to be listening to something and you are not going to be understand anything, I know it's very common thing. It's like a basic, okay? And if you are going to be learn something, it could be a language, it could be some skills, it could be anything that you want to learn, and you start learning that at that particular time. But now because you are just going to be make mistakes, you are improving on the other hand. And that's why it's an essential thing to understand. You have to be prepare enough. You have to prepare your mind to think in English. When I'm talking about listening, so it's just going to be tell your mind, okay, these are the grammar structure, these are the vocabulary, these are the sentences that I can use in that particular situation. I know at first you are not going to be understand some certain words, vocabulary, or the sentences. But if we gradually, you are just going to be take up this particular exercise and you are just going to follow that. Gradually, you will see that you start learning that. You start understanding that automatically. It will happen. But you have to be give it a try. Listen. Listen anything in English. Anything means I'm not going to be tell you that you can take up anything. No, there's no need. You have to be select wisely, so that whatever you are just going to be listen, whatever you are just going to be listen to, that you don't have to worry how it's just going to be add values in my life, because it will become so easy to you. And that's why you are just going to be select some quality kind of content, and you are just going to think, okay, this particular thing is just going to be add some values in my life and in my personality, then I'm just going to be listen to it. Just listen. Now, because you are just going to be listening, you are just going to be repeat it. And even if you are not going to be comfortable when I'm talking about the repeating, then you have to be pause that particular audio, that particular, when I'm talking about the podcast. And if whatever you are listening, quality kind of content you are listening at that moment, you have to be paused again and again over, and you are just going to be repeat that. When you are listening to that particular content, you have to be pay attention to the rhythm, to the pronunciation. And why I'm talking about the pronunciation, rhythm, and the it includes intonation as well. You have to be pay attention so that next time whenever you are just going to be listen to it, you can easily understand it. Even your mind is just going to be familiar with pronunciation, rhythm, or intonation. Next time you don't have to worry. If you want to, if you are just going to be use that particular vocabulary, grammar structure, or the sentences, that if it's just going to be correct or not, you don't have to worry because you have already listened to it. You have already familiar with the pronunciation, intonation, or the rhythm, and that's why you have to be pay attention on that. You are just going to be listen to some content which are just going to be quality kind of content, and after that you have to be repeat that one. And even if you are just going to be comfortable repeating that particular content in your words, in your own words, it will be amazing. Seriously. If you are just going to be repeat that particular content, whatever you have listened to, then it's just going to be amazing for you when it comes to be speaking English fluently, because after listening to, you are just going to be creating that content but in your own words. That's why it's an essential thing. That's why it's just going to be effective for you, because you are creating that particular content in your own words. So this is the first thing you have to do when you are alone at home. And the second thing is, when I'm just going to be talk about how you can be improve your English fluency, then the second thing is just going to be shadowing. So when I'm talking about the shadowing is the best technique. If you are at the intermediate or at the advanced level, then you are just going to be improve your English fluency effectively while using this particular technique that's called shadowing. But if you are at the beginner level, that even if it's just going to be help you, but before that, if you are at the beginner level, that you have to be select your audio. It must be so simple. You don't have to be select any audio, or you are just going to be native. You are just going to be choosing native language or native speaker. No, please don't do that. Because if you are at the beginner level, that you have to be select some so simple kind of audio podcast. So because I have already talked about the repeat and the listen and repeat, now it comes to be shadowing technique. So when I'm talking about the shadowing technique, it simply means that you are just going to be listen to something, but you are not going to be only listen to something. You are going to be repeat it with the speaker. You don't have to be pause that audio podcast or that particular content. You are just going to be repeating it. You are acting like a echo. When I'm talking about the shadowing, so it could be like when you walk, so your shadowing is just going to be walking behind you always. This is called shadowing because you are just going to be act like a echo in that regard. Whatever speaker is speaking, you are just going to be speak out with the speaker. As the speaker starts speaking, you have to be do the same. Whatever speaker is saying, you are just going to be repeat it out. Do this again and again over. Select particular quality kind of content, and you are just going to be repeat that one. And when you are just going to be repeat it out, just try to make it clear to yourself, so that you can listen to yourself while speaking, while shadowing. What is just going to be speaker is just going to be speaking. You have to be pay attention on the intonation, pronunciation, and the rhythm. You have to be do the same. You are just going to be do in the same manner. When you are just going to be do that particular things in the same manner, then you will see the difference. That's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.